Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for watching. You're watching 284 Media. Ruby's Writing, a chronicling of poetry, drama, and stories by the late Ruby Smith-Newberry, an educator and of course just someone that we held dear to our hearts. Her family, led by her daughter, is hosting a official book launch this coming Sunday at Maria's by the Sea. And today, Dr. Arlene Smith-Thompson, along with Ashaala Shanae, the CEO of Vocal Wall Street, as well as expert celebrity vocal health, who's going to be a featured guest, is here to speak to me about this magnificent event. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, Creative Director; Alex Lake, businessman; Sean Black, cinematographer; Dakari Wheatley Adams, content creator; Donandre Millwood, educator and musician; Hashim Dream, entertainer; James Todman Sr., contractor; Dr. Albert Tompkins, psychotherapist; Walter Barrett, author; Rakim Todman, producer and engineer; Kamal Letson, photographer; Roosevelt Smith III, sales manager and hospitality professional; Leland Abraham, IT technician and cybersecurity analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, every Wednesday at 8 p.m., exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner. Welcome back everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, we're discussing all things Ruby's Writing. Dr. Smith-Thompson and Ashaala Shanae, welcome to the platform. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome.
Yes.
This is the fourth publication of the late Ruby Smith-Newberry, and perhaps it is one of the most exciting. Of course, her work as an educator speaks for itself. As the daughter of the late Ruby Smith-Newberry, tell us about, first of all, give us a little bit of background on her previous publications before we get into this piece of work.
Sure. So, Ruby Smith-Newberry was a loved educator, but she was also a passionate creative writer. So, she wrote 3 other publications. 2 autobiographies, one in 1984 and one in 2012. But she also had a primary school reader published through UNESCO and the government of the Virgin Islands, and this was back in 1984. The stories were actually based on Anegada.
Wow.
It was live then. That's what the book was actually called, Now and Then. And that book is out of publication, but because the stories are still so relatable, we plan to have it republished at some time in the near future. So this publication, Ruby's Writings, is, as you said, the 4th, but I think the one that we're probably most excited about because it captures her writing styles, I should say, and the fact that she wrote in different genres. So in this book you would see poems, but you'll also see short stories. There's a little excerpt from her biography, and even a play that you can use for a drama series. So it's quite fascinating to read her writings, and we obviously it's bittersweet because she's not here. But thankfully, I got her blessing on this publication because we actually started this work in 2022.
Okay.
And she just had material in her library at home, and I decided to put it together for her. And even though she was afflicted with vascular dementia at that point, she still was lucid enough to understand what we were trying to do.
Okay.
And she was happy about it and gave us her blessing.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited for Sunday, and we are joined. Ashaala Shanae, you are a former student of.
I am.
Yes, and you're going to be participating. First of all, welcome home.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell us about your excitement in being on the island and participating in
Yeah.
this.
I'm super excited because I was talking with Dr. Thompson yesterday and we were just going back over memories of Miss Newberry, you know, the imprint that she made. The first thing she did when I was a little girl is made me dress up like a flight attendant when she would do certain things. And so I think this is so vital for me just to be a part of it. I didn't even know that Mr. Ruby had, you know, written me in her book. That I'm so honored. I'm extremely honored that that's there. And so, of course, I had to be here to celebrate just the culmination of her writings and just everything that Dr. Thompson is doing right now. It's just been amazing just to see that even though she is no longer here with us physically, that her legacy still lives on through her writing and just through who she was, just as, you know, in literature. So.
Absolutely. And that's most important. I love the fact that despite her absence, her legacy will live on through this piece of work.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And that's why we're so excited to have persons like Ashaala Shanae. I mean, she's very understated, but she's gone on to be quite successful.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we should ring those bells, you know, and that she got the start that she really needed here, the foundation. And Ashaala would tell anyone that it is the village that raised her in the BVI, you know, and gave her that formative grounding that she needed. And to go on and to do great things. And I'm so happy and honored to know that my mom played a role in that, you know, in her, I guess, her creative energies that she was able to, you know, harness and do great things. And yes, her name is mentioned in the book. and so speaking of Ashaala, it's an honor for us to have former students of my mom come back and perform pieces from the book and even their own songs that they or whatever production they may be involved in. We're happy that they're able to come back and contribute. And so we have persons like Ashaala, but we also have Kalinda, and even younger students like Gia and Silvana. They're all coming back to be a part of it. So we're so excited.
Wonderful. I want to go back to something you mentioned in the village playing a huge part. And that is something that, of course, for those who understand, it's significant in really crafting. I want to speak to Ashaala about you honing in on that creative aspect and now being able to be quite successful in the international scene. I want to talk about that foundation. What did that mean for you?
Oh man, it meant everything. So both my parents were musicians in Brooklyn, New York. My mom is a product of the BVI soil. She was born here. My grandmother, the late Ruth Vincent, was born here. Gordon was also from here. And so for me, music has always been an intricate part of my life. I remember people like Mr. Harold Malone, who was my first piano teacher. And then going into high school, you know, Miss Margie Webb, who was instrumental in my vocal, you know, development. And I cannot not say Mr. Arthur Selwood, who literally was the mentor that took me up under his wings and really saved my life in a lot of ways. Music saved my life. And so later on, I think next week, I'm going to be going to the high school itself to give back to the high school, to the music department, because as Dr. Thompson talked about, the village did raise me. During my childhood here, it was very tumultuous. My mom at the time was dealing with alcoholism, and it was very, very traumatic and very challenging as a child. And so I honed in on the creative arts as a way of coping. I joined every band from Fungi to Phoenix band to jazz band. And Mr. Selwood really understood what was happening in my home, but he also understood and he took advantage of making sure that I did not lose the creative abilities as a musician, as a creative being. And so because of that, I went on to go to college and was exempt actually from all of theory when I went to college in America, because I had the British education, especially Royal School of Music. And then to now, you know, working with celebrities and being able to run, you know, a multi-million dollar, you know, successful business and be able to now come back and give back. And so, and of course, being an artist myself. So there's a lot, but I would not be who I am today if it wasn't
Beautiful.
being raised
I
here.
want to thank you first of all
Yeah.
for your authenticity and sharing your story.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Dr. Smith-Thompson, of course, as we mentioned, this is a treasured piece of work. Do you have a favorite piece in this that you perhaps, an excerpt that you'd like to maybe share with us?
Well, it's difficult to have just one
I'm sure,
excerpt,
yes.
but what I can say about Mom's poems, even in the book, is how she addressed these different themes. So she would speak about tomorrow's woman, but then she can speak about the curriculums too, and then betrayal, for instance, or just how to stay focused. So I'll just read maybe just one. It's a very short poem on betrayal. She said, "We look, we see, we learn, with great anticipation, we yearn, we trust, we love, we discern, but hiding behind each turn is a silent enemy called betrayal."
Powerful. Powerful. Wonderful.
Yes.
So as I mentioned, and thank you for sharing that, Sunday, February 23rd at Maria's by the Sea. I just want you to speak to the BVI public, to whom and the life and legacy of your late mom has transcended generations.
It has.
And we're so honored that
Yes.
you have been able to help compile this piece of work.
Yes.
Speak to the public on why they
Sure.
should come out and celebrate this momentous piece of work.
Sure. Firstly, I would like to say that my mom, she meant so much to so many persons, and actually since her passing, I've heard so many wonderful stories. But apart from an educator, my mom, who actually was born in Aruba, grew up in St. Vincent, spent some time in England, and then moved to the BVI. So she was quite the Caribbean woman, and she had a way of, I would say, fusing BVI culture with her home country, St. Vincent. So she taught the local students songs or dances from her home country, but she also loved the BVI. So again, included in this book, you would see a sort of fusion of both cultures. But I would love for the general public to just come out and support this event on Sunday at Maria's at 3:30 p.m. We're planning quite a spectacular production, and also, we're going to officially launch the Ruby Stone Foundation because, yes, she was a creative writer and an educator, but my mom was also a giver, a philanthropist who would give her last dollar to someone in need. So this is another promise I made to her, that I will start a foundation to continue her work. And so we called it the Ruby Stone Foundation. And we want to help students who might be interested in the creative, the performing arts. We want to see how we could include students that might be on the fringes of society in whatever way we can to provide that level of support. And also an important objective of the foundation would be a focus on mental health wellness. And that's because, of course, there are many cases of dementia and Alzheimer's here in the territory, and Mom ended up being a victim of that. So we want to see how we could create more awareness through the foundation. So it's all for a good cause, and we would really like persons to come out and support.
Wonderful. Ladies,
Yes.
I want to thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having been able to sit down with you. And of
Thank
course,
you.
we'll see you at the book launch on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank
Ron.
you for having us.
You're most
Thank
welcome.
you.
Viewers,
Thank you.
that is all the time we have. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Goodbye.